with you, and so we're doing an interview, and I need to know about your childhood when you were growing up.
Okay.
So, this is my first question. What is the name of the community you grew up in?
The name of it was Poth, P-O-T-H, in Texas.
Good one. When you were little, did you receive an allowance?
Did I receive one? Yes, I did. It was kind of small for then. It was probably about 25 cents a week.
How much was your allowance?
It was 25 cents.
Did you spend it right way or save it?
Well, sometimes I would spend it, but I tried to save it so I could buy something later on that costs more. But sometimes I would spend it all at once.
If you spent it, what kinds of things would you buy?
Well, a lot of times when I got out of school, we would get together and go down to the drugstore and get a big soda. Ice cream and soda. And that's where I would spend it on. And I might also instead buy a comic book.
How much did a candy bar cost when you were my age?
Probably about 5 cents. Yes, 5 cents.
Do you remember how much a gallon of gasoline cost back then?
Yes, I remember it was as low as 13 to 15 cents a gallon.
How much did your family earn money?
How much did they earn? I really don't know how much my daddy earned, but we were comfortable. We were not rich, but we were very comfortable.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, believe it or not, I initially wanted to be a priest, but then I changed my mind when I was still young, and I don't know, I just sort of wanted to be in business, and then I wanted to be in the military, where I ended up.
What jobs have you had?
Well, I was in the Navy as an officer, and then when I retired, I was worked for Northrop Grumman as a material manager.
Which of those jobs did you enjoy the most, and why?
Probably when I was in the military as an officer, because we were able to go all over and see the world. I saw Japan, I saw Europe, and I say, unfortunately, I wasn't involved in any battles, but I was over in Vietnam also.
I should do that. How has technology changed since you were a kid?
Since I was a kid, well, when I was a kid your age, believe it or not, we didn't have TVs, we didn't have smartphones, we didn't have smartphones, cell phones are all the same, but TVs, computers, didn't have a computer. None of those were around.
Okay. What kinds of things are different in your home or school when you were my age?
When I was in your age, I guess we went, our school was a wooden schoolhouse, so it was some brick on the outside, but the floors were all wooden, and they had splinters in the floor, and you had to watch it, because a lot of kids back then went to school barefooted. They allowed that. Of course, now my mother wouldn't allow me to go barefooted, but there were a number of children that went barefooted to school.
Did your family have any
Challenges? Probably so. No doubt some were not small, but as I grew up, I was in high school and I played football and I had a concussion and it knocked me out and I had to go to the doctor and they had to keep me real quiet. But that sort of challenged my folks with my health. My mouth, I had teeth knocked out and I had root canals done as a kid, and they did it the old way where they went down and got the root from the top and came down to get the nerve out of the root. They don't do that now.
What's
A root.
No, a boot thing. You said when you were a kid you got a boot thing or something.
When I was a kid I got a boot. I'm not sure what...
No, when your teeth got knocked out, how did you get them replaced?
How did I get my teeth replaced? Well, they ended up having to pull them out. And I had a little small denture that they put in. And so when I was a little older than you, probably 10 or 11, I was wearing a denture.
What was your favorite book when you were in 3rd grade?
I'm going to have to tell you, I can't remember that. And I'll be honest with you, I was not a big reader. That's bad, because everyone should read a lot. But I did not read much then, other than what the teachers assigned me for homework.
What kind of things did you do while you were growing up? Like, what did you play at all? What did you do?
Oh yeah, well, I used to meet my friends after school. We'd go play cops and robbers. We would play baseball, sometimes football. As I grew a little older, then we started playing basketball in the gymnasium. Because I liked to play sports when I was young. I was involved in sports a lot.
Did you ever help your parents clean up the house at all, maybe?
Well, I'm sure my mother made me do some things, but I probably helped my dad more in what his business was, because he was a farmer and rancher, and he also owned a lumber yard, and he made me work at the lumber yard, and so I had to clean up things around there.
But I really liked doing that interview with you. It was great doing it, and I liked learning about your childhood.
Well, I enjoyed doing it with you. That was fun.